Okay, let me try something here. Is this so close? Is this okay? I've been wanting to try a different angle or something different, and I don't know if this is alright, but I hope I'm not too close and personal and you don't feel uncomfortable with me. But let's try it for this video. Hey everyone, it's Mafalda and this is my April TBR. So for April, I am doing a very ambitious TBR in my opinion. Usually for my TBRs, I always pick at least 5 books. I think I always do 5 books or 4. And for this one, I am going with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books. And I'm also including some audiobooks in this TBR video because I already have some plans of audiobooks that I want to listen to. And maybe I'm setting myself up for failure, but March was such a good month for me in terms of reading. I finished my TBR of like 5 books that I set up for myself like on the 20th of March or something, so it was super early. Then I had just like 10 days to read whatever I wanted and to focus on other videos. And so I thought that I would include more than 5 books on my TBR, and I just have a lot of books that I want to read this month for some reason or another. And I'm also participating in a readathon that is 1 week of the month of April. And yeah, let's just get into it because I have a lot of books to talk about. So first, for the readathon that I'm participating, I am going to be participating in the Read Fat Positive that is being hosted by Ali from Reverie with Ali. I will leave her channel down below as well as the information for the readathon. And the readathon is going from the 7th of April to the 13th of April. And like the title of the readathon says, it is to read books with fat representation in them and fat characters that don't lose weight and magically their life gets better. So fat representation that is positive, and fat positivity and fat representation in general is not something that I've read a lot in books. So I'm really excited to participate in this readathon and hopefully get started on reading more books with fat characters and with fat positivity and representation. And so for that week, I am going to be reading Julia Takes a Breath by Gabby Rivera. I've been meaning to read this book for so long, especially because Casey from Casey Can Read loves this book. And this book follows Julia, who has just come out to her Puerto Rican family as a lesbian, and she's not really sure where she fits in and if her family is going to be able to accept her or not. And at the same time, in the summer, she has an internship with an author that she really admires that writes a lot of feminist and gay stuff, and she's really excited about it. And I think it's a lot about self-discovery and accepting yourself and coming out and being gay, and I just think I'm going to love this book. Honestly, this is kind of a 5-star prediction and I'm really hoping that I will love it. And also the main character, Juliet, is fat, and this is not really something that is openly discussed in the book that much, but I also think it's important to read books with fat characters that the main focus of the book isn't about them being fat or accepting themselves or whatever. So I just thought that it was very interesting, and yeah, I'm going to be reading this book on the 2nd week of April for the Read Fat Positive. And then I'm also going to pick up an audiobook for that week, and the book that I'm going to be picking up for that week is Fate Taking Flight by Julie Murphy. I've had this audiobook saved for so long, and I just thought that this readathon was a great opportunity to finally pick it up and finally listen to it. And all I know about this book is that it's about Fate, and she's a plus-size superhero. And I don't know why, but I've been picking up a lot of superhero books this year, but I've been having tons of fun with them, and I just think this is going to be super unique because the main character is a plus-size girl. So I'm super excited to pick it up. I don't know much about the plot, but I am intrigued nonetheless, and I'm going to be listening to it for Read Fat Positive. Then the next book that I'm going to be picking up is actually a buddy read with my friend Casey here on BookTube. I keep mentioning Casey like you guys don't know her, and also like every 2 seconds it's like I'm obsessed with her or something. I don't know. And the book that we're going to be picking up together is This Is How You Lose the Time War by Amal El-Motar and Max Gladstone. And she actually gifted this one to me, and she has a second copy herself, and she hasn't read it yet, so I just asked her, like, do you want to buddy read this with me? Because I've been meaning to pick it up for a while. So yeah, we're going to be buddy reading this one together. And all I know about this book is that it's a sci-fi book, it has queer characters, and I think the writing is very like lyrical and beautiful. And also I have the audiobook saved. Maybe I will read it and listen to the audiobook at the same time. I think that's how I'm going to read it. I don't know. I'm very intrigued about this one, and I'm excited to finally pick it up. Now, the next book that I'm going to be reading in April is our book club pick for the 20-something book club, and it is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. This was voted by the people, and I'm super excited to finally read this one because everyone has been reading it, everyone has been raving about it, everyone has been loving it, and I am just so ready to give this one a 5-star as well. I feel like I'm going to love it. I don't know, I may be wrong. And this follows our main character Nora, and I think she dies and then she finds herself in the Midnight Library. And the Midnight Library is basically a place where she can relive certain moments in her life and also see how her life would have played out if she made certain decisions different than the ones that she did end up doing. I don't remember the first I don't remember the first part of the sentence. But yeah, she can relive certain moments in her life. And honestly, when I heard this plot, it's basically the same thing that Melanie Murphy wrote about in her first fiction book that was published before this one. Which is kind of a bummer, like, for her, that Matt Haig published a book with basically the same plot and it's getting all of this attention. But yeah, I'm really hoping that I will like this one better than I did If Only by Melanie Murphy, because it's the same plot, but I think this one may be, like, finessed, I guess, because everyone has been giving it 5 stars, so yeah, excited to read this one and excited to discuss our thoughts at the end of the month. And the next book that I'm going to be reading in April is our book club pick for the nonfiction baddies, and this is our book club pick for April and May, but I'm probably going to read it in April like I did our last book club pick, and it is Hood Feminism by Mickey Kendall. I don't want to say that all of these books are 5-star predictions, but this one definitely is. I think I included it in my 5-star predictions video, actually, and I'm just so excited to read this one. I feel like I'm going to adore this nonfiction book. I've been really loving nonfiction lately, and I just feel like this is going to, like, take the cake, if you know what I mean. And this book is an exploration on feminism, and especially how mainstream feminism is basically white feminism, and feminism is not intersectional and doesn't include every women group. And yeah, I just feel like this is going to be 5-star read, and I'm really excited to read this one and discuss it with everyone because I just know that we're all going to take such important lessons from this book, so excited to read this one. The next book that I'm going to be picking up in April is Normal People by Sally Rooney. This one has been read by everyone but me, I feel like, and there's a lot of mixed opinions about it, and there's also a TV show which I'm really curious to check out. And basically this book is about a couple that meets and they're both really awkward, but I think a connection strikes, and it's basically about them coming together, and then I think they break up, and I think it's just an exploration of love in a relationship. I am just curious about this book. I honestly have no predictions whatsoever about this one, and I'm just curious to check it out and to finally read a Sally Rooney book because I know that people either love it or hate it, so excited to see where I stand on Sally Rooney and this book. The next book that I'm going to be reading in April is Middle Game by Sean McGuire. I've had this one for a while on my shelf and I just need to finally read it. It's a big ass chunky book, but I'm ready for it, and I've heard this one is definitely a weird one, and I have tried Shannon McGuire before and it wasn't really my favorite, so I'm scared to read this one. This is a very intimidating book, and I think this is about an alchemist that creates a set of twins like two brothers, and they have like magical abilities, and the alchemist that created them basically wants them to rule the world and ascend to power and everything. And I think that's basically the plot of the book. I'm just so... I don't know how to feel about this one. I am interested and intrigued, but also kind of scared that I'm not gonna like it. And the last book that I'm going to be picking up in the month of April, I think it was also in my 5-star predictions video for some reason. I didn't make it on purpose to pick books from there, but I think it was, and it is Girl Made of Stars by Ashley Herring Blake. Like I've said before, this is a 5-star prediction, so I feel like I'm going to love it. This is right up my alley. This is YA contemporary with hard-hitting topics, just what I love and what I need. And this book follows Mara and Owen, and they are brother and sister, and they're very close. And one day, Owen is accused of raping one of Mara's friends, and so Mara is very torn between what she has to believe and what she wants to believe, and what is true and what is false. And I just think I'm going to adore this book, and I think it's going to be the one that I pick up first in the month, honestly, and I'm just super excited, and I really hope it doesn't disappoint me. So yeah, and that concludes all of the books that I'm going to be reading in the month of April, hopefully, because I don't know, maybe I won't get to all of these because I don't know how my semester is gonna go. I don't know if it's going to be super busy or not. We'll see, but I really hope I have time to read like I did in March. So here are all of the books that I'm going to be hopefully reading in the month of April. So I have Juliet Takes a Breath, This Is How You Lose the Time War, The Midnight Library, Hood Feminism, Normal People, Middle Game, I can't point anymore, and Girl Made of Stars. And I'm also going to be listening on audiobook to Fate Takes Flight by Julie Murphy, and I'm probably going to listen to more audiobooks, I just don't know which ones yet. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you're participating in any readathons, if you're reading any of the same books that I am, I don't know. Also, let me know if being too close is weird or not, because I kind of like this like frame situation. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you haven't, and I will see you on my next one. Bye!